What's going on, RDAP? RDAP. What's going on, YouTube? RDAP Dan here. Happy Monday to everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. While we're waiting for everybody to join us, and today, as you can see, we're going to be talking about can the judge sentence you to the Residential Drug Addiction Program, RDAP? That's going to be our topic today because that is a question that I get quite often. More than a question, it's almost like a statement of fact that I get from a lot of people. So that's what our focus is going to be on today. While we're waiting for that, do not forget, everything's in the description of this video. This video is sponsored by Pigeonly, who is an inmate telephone service that can save you money on your inmate calls, also help you getting pictures to your inmates, letters, and articles. Basically, information you find on the internet that you might find useful that you'd like to send your loved one, you're able to send that. Pigeonly will allow you to do all of that without leaving your house. That's the really cool thing, is you can get photos in your inmate's hand without ever leaving the house. So definitely take a look. CJ just posted the description in the live chat. It's also in the link as well. Mr. Merrick, what's going on, my man? Also, as you can see, we have our social media links on here up on the screen. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and Twitter. Do yourself a favor and add me to all of those, specifically Instagram, Snapchat. Twitter has a lot of the same feeds that we have on YouTube, but still add us to Twitter, and everything is RDAP Dan. So if you go to Instagram, RDAP Dan. If you go to Facebook, RDAP Dan. If you go to Twitter, RDAP Dan. And if you go to Snapchat, it's RDAP Dan. The really cool thing about Snapchat is we do a lot of the behind the scenes stuff on Snapchat, and not just the behind the scenes of making our videos, behind the scenes of what's a day-to-day in the office when we go out. Right now we've been putting CJ through some of the prison workout routines. We've been Snapchatting a lot of that and throwing it up on our little storyboard on Snapchat and Instagram. So if you're not following us on those, go ahead and head over there. It will give you some additional insight to what we do over here at Federal Prison Time during our off hours. What's going on, Junior? Welcome. So today, how many people we got in the room, CJ? For some reason, it's not showing me.
10.
We got 10 people in the room, so that's enough to go ahead and get kicked off. So today we're talking about, can the judge sentence me to RDAP? And how does that work? Reason why I decided to talk about this topic is we have a new client that has it in his paperwork. He has it in his PSR that the judge is basically making a recommendation that the client should be in RDAP. And he thinks he was going to get into RDAP, but he's got a gun enhancement on his, that's what he was charged with. He was charged, actually, I'm going to show you right here. We have it. We've blocked out his personal information for privacy reasons, but let me show you. This is directly from Pacer. So as you can see, I enlarged it the best I could. His charges were controlled substance, sell, distribute, or dispense. It was cocaine, what the drug was, and then also violent crime, drugs, machine gun. Well, he didn't have a machine gun, and for some reason they put machine gun on there, but in the final print there wasn't a machine gun. However, there was a gun used in the furtherance of a crime. It wasn't used. It was found at the location where the drugs were found, and this will disqualify you from the Residential Drug Addiction Program. As you can see, where it says 18:924C, 924, that's really going to prohibit you from getting into the Residential Drug Addiction Program and getting time off. And the reason why I wanted to show you this one specifically, if you read through this paragraph, when you get down to, here, we'll just read it. Defendant is committed to the custody of Bureau of Prisons for a total term of 36 months as follows: 24 months as count 1, 12 months as count 2, both counts to be served consecutively to each other. The cost of incarceration fee is waived. While incarcerated, the court recommends that the defendant participate in the BOP's Residential Drug Abuse Program. And then also, when you get down to the second paragraph, that's referring more to count 2. Defendant is committed to the custody of Bureau of Prisons for a total of 36 months as follows: 24 months as to count 1, 12 months as to count 2, both counts to be served consecutively to each other. The cost of incarceration fee is waived. While incarcerated, the court recommends that the defendant participate in the BOP's Residential Drug Abuse Program. So as you can see, it's in his PSR. It's on Pacer. The judge made the recommendation. And I think a lot of people see that and hear that, and they think that is going to allow them to enter into the residential drug addiction program, and it's just not. He's got solid drug addiction. It's in his PSR. He's a great candidate for the residential drug abuse program. However, because of the gun charge, it disqualifies him from entering into the program, which in his case, he does not get any time off. And he's really upset from that because he didn't tell us about the gun charge when he originally got with us and sent us over the information today. And going through it, I had to explain to him that you are not going to be eligible for the drug program. Your best case scenario is going to be maxing out your halfway house, trying to get up to 12 months of federal halfway house, which we all know is not an easy feat, especially with what's going on through the BOP and budget cuts and all of that stuff. However, through the First Step Act, the new law that was going to be put into place, we're hoping that will resurrect additional halfway house time as well, and that's kind of where we are on that. So it's real important for you guys to understand that you need to really work with your attorneys and have your attorneys fight tooth and nail to get certain charges dropped, if at all possible, because these are the things that can make a difference. His attorney wasn't even aware that he doesn't qualify for RDAP. We had to send his attorney a bunch of information today based on RDAP qualifications and disqualifications. And this poor gentleman, unfortunately, is not going to be able to get in the residential drug addiction program, but that doesn't mean he should give up trying, not trying to get in the program, but trying to benefit himself and put himself in a better situation than he is right now. Truly, he has a drug addiction program. He has a drug addiction issue that he had. They have a non-residential drug program that you can take in prison that will still allow you to get the help, the support you need, help you return to society better than what you went in. It can increase the odds of additional halfway house time because it's showing that you're taking your treatment serious. And that's really what we try to advocate over here is it's great to get the time off. We all know everybody wants the time off, but that's not always going to be the case. The case of the matter is he will be getting out of prison at some point, and if he doesn't take it serious and doesn't use the tools that are there while he's incarcerated during this time and period of his life, if he doesn't take access to what's there, then there's a probability that you could get out, relapse, fall back to old ways, and before you know it, you're back in prison. If you guys follow me on Facebook, I was communicating with a guy that I did time with, went through RDAP with, and he just violated his probation. He had a dirty UA for marijuana. He's going to court tomorrow, and his attorney thinks they're going to give him 6 to 12 months. He's got 3 years left on federal probation. So now he might have to go back to prison for 6 to 12 months. The end of it, they might just kill his probation. He has no probation, or they might reinstate his probation after he serves an additional 6 to 12 months in federal custody, probably in some kind of a county holdover somewhere because the sentence is pretty short. So if you're trying to gain access in the residential drug abuse program, and your early stages, maybe you're pre-indictment, maybe you haven't been indicted yet, maybe you're at a situation where you know you're being investigated, maybe you're being offered to come in and proffer to see what you know, what information you have. Usually, if you're at that point, there's a good chance you might be facing prison time as well. Best thing you can do to start preparing for this is picking up your phone and getting in contact with us sooner than later. A lot of people like to wait and see what's going to happen. Well, what if they don't indict me? What if they drop the charges? What if I don't get sentenced to enough time? What if I'm only going to get probation? You've got all these great ideas of how you might be able to beat the system, or maybe the system will just forget about you. Usually the system doesn't forget about you, and very rarely do you see anybody get over and beat the system. The only thing that you have a chance at doing is using the system to your benefit, finding out how it works, getting an inside look of what makes all of these gears turn, how you can put yourself in the best possible position to end up with the best possible outcome. And a lot of that comes from hard work. It doesn't come from just hiring an attorney or hiring a prison consultant. There's no magic wand. There's no fairy dust. It's going to require hard work and dedication, creating the picture of who you really are, your personal narratives, your character reference letters, your allocution when you decide to get up and speak in front of the judge, what you're going to say, how you're going to say it, what words you're choosing to use. Are you going to be able to say it without crying? Are you going to break down? Are you just going to forget what you're saying and start rambling like I did during my allocution? We have proven methods that we've shown over and over that can work and can help influence the outcome to a positive one. But it's not going to happen last minute. You've got to be able to dig deep and do things that are uncomfortable. When we say we create an outreach program and we create a mentorship, it's not just fancy words. We're actually getting you to engage with your community with a certain set of tools that we've seen work for many other clients, including, we see him in here all the time, Jameson, who ended up receiving 1 day in federal prison. You guys have seen several people come on this channel that have either received reduced sentences or federal probation in situations where they were not supposed to receive probation, or where they didn't think it was a possibility, where prosecutors were not offering it, where it was outside of their guidelines, meaning their guidelines called for prison time, but the judge saw something so different in these people standing in front of him or her that the sentence handed down kind of blew the socks off of everybody, including us. You know, we always hope for the best, but we know it's very likely that a client will end up with some sort of a prison sentence. But we act as if every one of our clients has the ability to get probation, so that's where our focus is. That's what our goal is. And when we tell people that we work as hard on your cases and what we can do to help you to position you in the best possible outcome, when we work with you, we're working with you just as we would if it was myself going through this again, or if it was a family member, anybody personal that's attached to me. This is exactly the information and the advice and the guidance we would be giving them. I really feel like this is where our success has derived from, is the fact that we actually really do care what happens to our clients. Today, how long did I spend on the phone today talking with people that aren't clients, just people that had questions? If you had to guess how many hours I was on the phone, what would you say, CJ? Say it nice and loud.
Probably 4 or 5 hours.
4 or 5 hours. I would say that's an accurate answer. 4 or 5 hours of my day was spent today talking with people that are just at the end of the rope. They're not sure what direction to go. They're not sure who to believe. They're like, you know, we really want to give you a shot. We really want to try this, but what's the difference between you and the guy that's going to charge us $7,000? And, you know, at the end of the day, you've got to be able to make that decision for yourself, and it's going to require you to do a little digging and a little homework into what you may be hearing from other people. But some of the things that you should really be focusing on when you're talking to a coach or a prison consultant, and depends where you're at in your phase, obviously, but if you have not done your PSR yet, like maybe you haven't taken your plea yet, you're at that point where you're getting ready to plea out, or maybe you just took your plea, but you haven't done your PSR, that is a great point to really, that's almost where you can enter in with our services before it gets to be too late. The ideal time is the minute you find out that you might be in trouble or you think you're under investigation, because now we have a lot of time to create the environment that we want to create for you, meaning getting you out in the community, speaking engagements, talking to children, going to schools. The more you can put into this, the more community outreach and the more community service that you can acquire between now and the day of sentencing is going to be that much higher probability of a successful outcome, because it's allowing you to build the outlook of this is now becoming who you are. You're now creating a new habit. If you go out and you do community service for 2 weeks, okay, great. If you go out and you do community service for 6 months, a year, we had a client that was doing community outreach, community service for over a year. He happened to receive probation. Coincidence? I think not. So these things can make a difference. Shelly, what is Shelly referring to all the time? What are you referring to? Oh, she's probably talking about me on the phone. Unfortunately, Shelly has to weather the storm when I'm constantly on the phone talking to clients, and she understands. She really does. She wishes she could get a little more personal RDAP Dan time, but I try to allocate enough time for like date nights and things like that. But she knows that not only do I have a passion about this, but she knows what it's like. She was on, I thought a sneeze coming. She was on the other side getting ready for prison and not really having the focus group to focus on how to properly prepare. So she does understand what it is that that we do. So she does give me some wiggle room. I didn't see you. Cheryl? Oh, that's you commenting.
Yeah.
Cheryl Camp. Hey, Cheryl, how are you doing? So if your if your attorney is telling you, don't worry about it, the judge is going to give you a recommendation. A recommendation does not really carry weight at all getting you into the residential drug addiction program. It just does not. It's solely going to be based on what's in your PSR, what's not in your PSR, and if you do not have information in your PSR backing up some sort of substance abuse that you stated, the only other way into the program possibly is through a substance abuse professional, which we also have that for you. We have a lady named Diane who does all of our substance abuse evaluations. We've been using her for quite a while now, close to probably over a dozen clients. She does an amazing professional evaluation. She is licensed. She's a chemical dependency professional. She is out of California. They have an office out there. Clients that are local to the area can actually go out there and meet with her, sit in her office. But the majority of our clients are not in California, so it's done through either like Skype or some sort of a, I forgot what they use on, like Hangouts through Google. But she likes to do at least a video chat to really get to meet you, get to understand what you're going through, and then she creates an assessment. And she's not going to lie. She's not going to make things up. So you have to have some kind of an actual issue to have her be able to work with you. We get people calling us all the time that ask, hey, what do I got to say to get into RDAP? And it's like, well, tell me a little bit about your substance abuse. Well, you know, I haven't had a drink in 10 years, or I don't really use any drugs, but I can say I do. She's not going to help you with something like that, especially if you're coming out like that and telling us right out of the gate that you don't have an issue. We would be crazy to put you in a situation to try to get you into RDAP, especially if you go on our blog, you'll see the attorney that ended up getting arrested and indicted for doing just that, for helping a client falsify documentation, creating a backstory that doesn't exist. So we're not in the business of trying to get re-indicted. Jesse, I wasted so much time. I'm a month away from sentencing. I did some positive things, but not nearly what I wanted to do. Then again, my ankle monitor limited me a lot. I have a strict PO. You know, and that's a reality of the situation we're in. When you're on ankle monitor or probation, pretrial, you know, everything you do has to be okayed and approved from your supervisor, from your probation officer or your supervised release officer. These things have to be approved. And if you're on an ankle monitor, that may limit to what you can do. But we have things for those of you that are on ankle monitors. We have solutions to help you get around that, to still create the benefit of creating new habits, which will trickle down to what the judge sees, especially in the writing that is generated on your behalf. All of your personal narratives and your character reference letters, they originally come from you. You know, we're not going to sit here and make up a backstory for you. We're going to give you outlines. We're going to give you guidelines. We're going to give you samples of what goes in to make a good narrative, a good character reference letter, a good allocution for your day in court. But what we're going to do is give that information to you to have you be able to focus in the right direction. You are then going to write your own, send it to us, and then we go in, make edits, recommendations to send it back to you and your attorney for final approval. And I'd say 95% of the time, what we send back, you're more than happy with, and so is your attorney. In most cases, we get praises from attorneys, especially the skeptic attorneys. The skeptic attorney that's like, well, it's your money, spend it on whatever you want, but I don't know what difference this is really going to make. But then when they get it and they see it, and we have it entered in prior to you doing your PSR, we have it given to the probation officer that's going to conduct your pre-sentence report, we get responses from attorneys going, that was a really good idea. That probation officer was really impressed, and you could tell because I've sat in front of this probation officer half a dozen times over the last 6 months, and this is the first time I've heard him say, I've never seen somebody come as prepared as you, Mr. Client. We have you walk in with documents. You are going to be prepared when you enter into the PSR interview. Walking in empty-handed and not really knowing what to ask and just answering whatever quick questions the probation officer has, that's what this whole system is comprised of already, is just rush you through the gate, right? How many times have you been to any kind of like a ticket infraction where you got to go pay a ticket? There's no protocol for that. You show up with money, you get in line, you're like a herd going through the gate. Pay money, ticket, go away. Pay money, ticket, go away. Same thing with the federal government. They want to indict you. They want to push you through the system as fast as possible, feed you a plea, you eat the plea, you go stand in front of the judge, you get your average sentence, you move on. They're used to seeing this herd coming through in a very specific manner. When you're that one character that stands out like Where's Waldo, and you stick out like a sore thumb in a positive way to where you're giving insight to a situation that should be so normal and cookie cutter, but it's not, because everything you've done is against what everybody else is doing. Your narratives are different. Your character reference letters are different. Your ethic is different. The habits you've created are different. The fact that you've got a personal narrative the day you're walking into your pretrial interview is different. Your allocution and what you say to the judge is different. What your friends and family say to the judge is different. Everything is different, to the point where you get the judge scratching his head going, does this person really deserve the type of sentence I was about to hand down? They do contemplate these thoughts. Everybody thinks the judge already has his mind made up before he walks in to the courtroom the day of sentencing. In a lot of cases, I wouldn't say he has his mind made up, but he's already in a direction because he's done this so many times. He's not used to seeing anything different. Create something different. Show the judge something different. Be different. Be a voice that they haven't heard yet. Give them a reason to stop and think about what's different about you and what's stopping you from doing this right now. I'll tell you what's stopping you from doing this is lack of motivation. Right now, there's somebody out there is watching this video going, God, I should pick up the phone and give RDAP Dan a call, but I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it the next day. I've still got months and months and months left. There's no rush. Put it off, and put it off. Before you know it, time's here. You're out of time. You're going to call me up and go, what can we do? I'm getting sentenced next week. And I'm going to go, well, we can get a personal narrative ready for you. We can help you with your character reference letters. But the fact that you're waiting to the last minute to turn them in doesn't usually go over too well with the judge. We've already heard judges say they love getting letters early on because it shows that you're taking it serious and you're not just throwing a bunch of stuff together at the last minute. It's just like anything. If you've got a paper due in school and you turn it in, you're the last person in class to turn it in, the bell's already rang, you're sitting there working on it, the teacher's going to feel like you didn't put any effort into this. You just kind of struggled at the last second and you threw something together, and they'll read it and go, you know what, this probably isn't half bad, but the fact that you didn't apply yourself and take it serious, I'm going to give you a lower grade than what I might give somebody else that put hard work and effort into this. You know, trying to show a difference, it really can stand out. So stand out. Be the sore thumb, because the sore thumb may not get the sore sentence. Can I use that? Does that sound too corny? Can't edit it.
Now,
it's live, so we're stuck with it. Sore thumb. All right. So really, that's all I got today, guys. We're going to make this a short video. And again, take this stuff serious. You know, the judge cannot sentence you to RDAP. Can't happen. The judge cannot sentence you to a specific prison. It's not going to happen. Only make recommendations. Recommendations to a prison carry a little bit of weight. Recommendations to RDAP, it's a waste of hot air coming out of the judge's mouth, because really it's going to come down to either what's in the PSR, what's not on the PSR, or you having a professional opinion from a substance abuse counselor or a professional that has the ability to give an actual evaluation that the RDAP coordinator can use to overrule what they're seeing in your pre-sentence report. So with that said, don't forget to like this video, share this video. Make sure if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to the channel. Also text the word YouTube to 76626. That will put you on our text message notification service to make sure that you get messages right before we go live. As I said, I'm on all social media platforms. As you can see, we got it here on the screen: Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and Twitter. It's all at RDAP Dan. If you haven't downloaded the apps on your phone, do it now. If you're interested in seeing, we're going to have to let Jameson show his message here. Where'd it go? There it goes. All of these social media outlets, specifically right now on Snapchat, we're posting a lot of behind the scene type stuff, some extra footage. some prison workouts. We're putting CJ through the grind right now, showing him what the prison workouts are all about, seeing how he weathers through it. So come follow us on social media to watch me abuse CJ with some federal prison workouts. Do you like federal prison workouts, CJ?
Can I be honest?
Yes.
Some of them.
Some of them. He likes them. Different, right?
Yeah.
Good stuff?
Mm-hmm. The same shit in the military.
Same shit in the military. We doubt it. It's like military versus prison. Prison will win every day. Bring it on, military. If you're in the military and you think you have better workout programs than what they have in prison, make a video. Send it. I'll share it. What can I lose? All right, guys, that's all I got. Hope you guys have an amazing week. I will see you on Wednesday. The John Kiriakou video, the ex-CIA agent. I should have some footage Tuesday or Wednesday back from the editor, so that video will be up soon. It's going to be a 3-part mini-series. Look forward to it. I'm RDAP Dan, Federal Prison Time. One day at a time, people helping people, communities method. I love every single one of you guys, and I'll see you Wednesday. Have a great day. Peace.